What? I went to a meeting, myself and Melly and John Lippa. We went Friday, met with Cameron Ministry. They did a presentation to us so we could bring it back to you on what they want to do on Cameron Street. The safety issue, cleaning the street up, you know, beautification. So I asked them to come today so you know what's happening in the neighborhood. So if you have any questions, right now is the time to do it. I'd like to bring you up.
Thank you.
Set you up.
Thank you.
Everybody's free to ask questions after, please.
So I know a lot of faces. I'm Jen Maniga. I'm the Executive Director of Cameron. I want you to know that I'm invested in this neighborhood, not quite as much as you, maybe, but I've been here at Cameron for 7 years. So this is where I come to work every single day. This is where my kids come. They're going to be here all summer hanging out. And I love it. I love the neighborhood. I love Cameron in particular. There's never a boring day, ever. And so we used to come to these meetings. It's tough. I used to come before I had kids, and now it's hard for me to be away at night. But I also have staff that now our youth program runs a little bit later, so actually they're still working, so it's hard to send people. But we are going to get back to that because it's important. It's important for us to be here, knowing what's going on, and being able to add things and just listen to you all. So we know that there is some concern, rightly so, over kind of what's been heard. And so I apologize that in advance we didn't kind of come to you guys first. It was a little bit backwards, but we were also we're in sort of a quiet phase, which is kind of awkward. I can tell you, have bought the house that's next door to Cameron's playground. So I can pass out some pictures for your reference, but it's number 32 Cameron Street. And we kind of tried to keep that as quiet as we could, only because we were kind of worried about it being stripped, to be honest, broken into, things like that, while people knew that somebody wasn't living there. So we really haven't told a whole bunch of people at all. So that's kind of why I was quiet and kind of came out a little bit backwards, more so than I would have liked that, Molly.
Jen, while I know a lot of people may be familiar with Cameron, they might not know sort of the range of services and when you're open and that.
Yeah.
Just do a very brief
Sure.
overview.
So in general, Cameron is a soup kitchen. We serve a meal every single day of the week. We're going to be closed on Memorial Day. We have 3 days out of the year that we are scheduled to be closed. So we serve a meal every day to anybody who wants to come in. Doesn't matter where you're from. If you're hungry, you can come in and have a meal in our soup kitchen. It's lunchtime, hot meal, Monday through Saturday, 12 to 1:30. And then on Sundays, we do a Sunday celebration dinner, which is at 4:30. Just a little bit different. Usually a group comes in and serves something completely different. A church group comes in and makes a big lasagna or something like that. So it's an opportunity for church members to come in and kind of do some mission work and hang out with people. And just usually they're from the suburbs, so we get them here and get them out of their element, which is a good thing. We also have a clothing house, which does clothing and diapers and hygiene products, all sorts of household items for people to come in, and there's a very minimal fee. It's $1 per person to shop, and you can get things that you need for your family. It's sort of like a consignment store. If you haven't been there, it's kind of boutique-y, it's cute. You should come in and check it out. It's very cute. And then lastly, we have a youth program, which is very vibrant. We've been there since 1984. Doing all of these services, but our youth program has 40 kids every day after school. In our after school program, we get kids from 54 school only. So again, invested in this neighborhood, although now the schools aren't exactly neighborhood anymore. But our teachers walk down from Cameron Street down to the school and pick up the kids every day and walk them back so that they are getting back to Cameron safely, and kind of alleviates transportation issues for parents so that they can make sure to get there every single day. And we're doing academic programming with the kids. They have to do their homework. They're doing tutoring and life lessons and etiquette skills and all sorts of fun things about responsibility. And we're just kind of closing that gap. We know that some of the city school kids, a lot of the city school kids are struggling, and we want to make sure that we're giving them an equal playing field with everyone else, setting them up to succeed, keeping them off the streets, keeping them from being part of the problem, particularly on Lyle Avenue or this neighborhood, you know that kids can get drawn into things that are negative and have lifelong consequences. So we're trying to kind of break that gap for them. And trying to help families as a whole as well. And then all summer, we'll have kids there all day, so it's different. It's not just after school, it's gonna be all day, 10 to 4, and that's open to anyone, it's not just 54. So if you've got kids, grandkids, anybody, we're gonna take probably about 50 kids this summer, and we do fun field trips and taking them, just exposing them to opportunities that they may not have otherwise. We go hiking, go to Letchworth last year, which was fun, just doing all sorts of things within the city and also outside the city, just to kind of get them out. So it's a really neat place. It's a really busy place every day. And one of the big things that we see lacking right now in all of our services is we have amazing services for kindergarten through 6th grade, our school agers. And then we've got pretty good emergency services for people who are in need. We have food and clothing, but we're missing that middle year, the teen years, where we know that is awkward for kids who don't have, you know, problems at home or, you know, the pressures of drugs and alcohol around them. And so we say, we hope that we've set you up well from kindergarten to 6th grade. Good luck, and we hope we don't see you again in our soup kitchen, unfortunately. And so we really feel like that's a missing piece that we want to help stay with these kids. They've been with us since they were 5 years old, most of them. And so we know if we can keep our hands on them and give them a safe place to keep coming after school, to keep coming to get help with the homework and learning skills about responsibility in life, then they'll succeed. Then most of them won't be contributing to the problems that we're seeing on Lyle and getting into drugs and alcohol and all sorts of things like that.
Now,
So-
can you tell them about the house that
Yes.
you just bought? What do you want to do with it?
So, leading into that, the house that we just bought,
Right.
we want to take and renovate number 32 that you saw into a teen center. So we want to make it so that we can expand from 6th grade. After our kids that leave 6th grade, we've got almost 20 of them leaving this year. They're done. They're graduating with us next month. They don't want to leave. They're saying, Miss Jen, where am I going to go? What am I supposed to do now? I'm going to need help in 7th grade. And they got nowhere to go because they aged out from us. And so we want to make sure that we can keep them, which is why we want that house. So we bought the house with the intention of remodeling it, making it pretty on the outside. It's been boarded up, not such a pretty sight, kind of all down Cameron Street from where our building is. They can pass out some more pictures so that you can see my point of reference, but we want to remodel that house inside and out and make it look pretty and make it be inviting. We're actually looking at library models of how the library is using, redoing things to make things youth-friendly. It'll be a big open space. We'll have a big open room that is also going to be kind of just a 2-story wide open room that can host meetings like this or other meetings that we would be happy to have the community use. And also families. We're going to try to get a lot more family engagement and engaging the parents with the kids so that we can just kind of wrap around all of those services.
And no city money is going to this.
Yeah, we've got.
Okay, so no taxpayer
That's right.
dollars, no.
That's right. Zero government funding. So we have a lot of funding. I write about, I don't know, a gazillion grants a year to foundations that give us a lot of money. And we have a lot of church support that we've had for 35 years. So we're really lucky in that we have just loyal supporters who believe in the mission and believe in helping kids in the Lyle Otis neighborhood. So this is Todd Allen. He's a board member of ours, and we've kind of been fighting the good fight, not really anticipating some of the pushback, although we definitely anticipated the pushback of the commercial use, and so we definitely don't want to get into the weeds of everything, but the city kind of, I don't want to throw you under the bus, but the city just kind of
curveball.
they threw us a curveball, yes. So we thought, as our space is used now, we are under a special use permit because we are technically a place of worship, a religious place. It's an old church. It used to be the Lyle Avenue Baptist Church, and I'm sure lots of you remember if you've been here for lots of years. So we were granted initially a special use permit to do the services that we currently have. And so we thought, well, that would just carry over to the next property, but that was not accurate. So the city kind of told us, hey, why don't you, we've thought about it, we had a couple of meetings back and forth, and they said, it seems like C1 would be the best way to go about this. It'll give you the freedom to do the things that you want to do, and just makes sense because it wouldn't be spot zoning, it would just carry the commercial down from Lyle, and they said win-win, and so we weren't anticipating that at all, but we kind of went with it, like, okay, you guys know what you're talking about. So that's where the commercial one came from. And I absolutely understand, we absolutely understand the pushback that we got. We didn't expect to be turned down by the Planning Commission, which we were, but we understand the reasoning as to a lot of concern from neighbors saying that a commercial lot lends to opportunities that we already have way too many of, which would be strip clubs and bars and whatever, if we were to go away, which we do not intend to do for a very long time. We've been here for 35 years, and if anything, getting this property and being able to expand our services keeps us invested here, keeps us to be able to clean up this neighborhood, keeping the kids safe for a longer period of time. So that's kind of where we are. But
that was good.
Yeah.
That was good. Not much really for me to say. So basically, is everyone familiar with those the lots that are in question?
I don't, I'm not.
Okay. So if you look around here, there is 20 Cameron Street is where the Peace Garden is right now. Okay, so that's the vacant lot. One down. There's one house after Lyle, and then 20 Cameron's the vacant lot. Okay. Then next to the vacant lot is a house number 26 Cameron Street, and that's all boarded up. And this is the one this is probably a better picture of it. And that is, the city owns that house, and it's been repossessed based on tax foreclosure, and it's scheduled for demolition.
Yes.
Okay? So, and then next to 26 Cameron is 32 Cameron Street. That's the house that we purchased that's right next to the playground. Okay? So when we met with the city, and the city told us, hey, that you guys should really do this as commercial one if we were prepared to buy 26 and 20 of those lots, which we are. So we're gonna purchase both of those lots. As soon as 26 Cameron Street gets knocked down by the city, we're gonna purchase that lot as part of our renovation for 32. Okay? So we don't care at all about a commercial designation in zoning. This was the city's recommendation to us, which is rather interesting. When we went to the Planning Commission, they shot us down. So anyway, so by virtue of that, we kind of stepped back from the whole thing and said, wow, what are we going to do, right? And there was a lot of support, because I think everybody here in this room would say a middle school program to keep these kids in a structured environment is a good thing, and actually the mayor thinks it's a good thing too.
Yeah.
So as a result of kind of the fallout from the Planning Commission rejection, the mayor got involved. And the mayor got involved and said, hey, we think this is a good idea, that this plan that Cameron Community Ministries wants to do, and we'd like to have them present it to council. So next month, June 14th, we're going before the council with our plan for 32 Cameron, renovate it and expand it, and purchase 26 Cameron Street and 20, right? The thing is very important, because we had submitted our initial application as a commercial designation, we have to stay there in that designation. However, when we go in front of council, council has the capability to change their recommendation on the zoning, right? We completely support the fact that you do not want a commercial district there. It was not our idea. We thought when we built, I was the one that was involved in building the playground 6 years ago, and we just did a special use permit. We just kind of thought, geez, that logically makes sense. We'll do a special use permit. But It doesn't work that way. So anyways, so we have the committee meeting that we have to do the Q&As at 4 o'clock on the 14th of June. There is a public Q&A at 5 o'clock that same day. I would welcome any and all of you to come and frankly to support our initiative. And we are, like I said, not wedded to C1 in any way commercial designation. We think an R3 designation will do what we need to do, or a special use permit would do what we need to do. All we want to do is renovate and build that house so we can continue our program and expand our services. That's it. And we solely exist for this neighborhood. So if you all can get behind that and help us convince the city that they need to kind of, look a little differently than just it's commercial or nothing, we would really appreciate it. I feel like we have a little bit of momentum right now because the mayor's behind it, but I'm a little concerned because I thought we had momentum 2 months ago and we didn't. So to Jen's point, the reason why we couldn't come here and talk a little bit about it earlier is because we have to go out and we have to raise money to be able to do this kind of thing. And by virtue of our donor base, we have to kind of roll it out to everyone at the same time. So we kind of thought we would get everything set with the city first, and then we would be able to have our initiative in terms of start raising money. So our biggest fundraising event is a golf tournament we have, charitable golf tournament we have at the beginning of every June. And our plan was to roll out that at the golf tournament. Now, as it turns out, we're not going to be able to do that because the city meeting's after that. But we're still kind of greasing the skids as we go. So, we're very positive about what we're doing. We're happy to purchase those lots and get kind of those vacant lots off the street, which is what we did with the playground. If you remember that house that was there, which was a pretty shaky place, 6-7 years ago. So we have the survey and kind of how it's blocked off. If anyone wants to see it, I can walk you through the lots and all this kind of thing. We're cautiously optimistic that, with your support, that we'll be able to get the city to give us what we need to begin. Yes?
Are you stopping at 20?
We're going to have the garden.
No, I mean, because when we received a card from the planning zone, it said all of the properties that you showed us, plus 16,
Yeah.
which is
Yep.
to the right of the garden. Are you still going to pursue that little house?
So it sounds like a bad answer, but it's the truthful answer. Yes and no. Okay. So because of the fact you have to, it was like a college term paper I had to fill out to submit the application, and by virtue of that, when I had to go down last Friday to reactivate our application, it had to stay as it was,
Okay.
C1. However, with that being said, we've been talking to the people in planning and zoning. They seem to be receptive to a different designation other than commercial. We don't really know what's going to happen, but it seems that, is there a chance they could just say commercial 1 for that whole thing, which would include 16, which is that little house right there in between? I guess it's a possibility. I wouldn't, bet on it, but I got a feeling that something's going to come back that's going to be different than that. That will just involve 20, 26, which is the house that's going to be demoed, 32, which is the house we own now, and then, the playground and the rest of the Cameron campus.
They had us include 16 initially so that it wasn't spot zoning, and so there was enough property ownage, frontage, owner,
Curb
between us and the
frontage.
city,
That's
that
allowed,
we had the percentage that we
Okay,
needed.
I was just curious to know if that was going to be something that was going to be looked at later on once you've gotten the other buildings and the garden straightened out.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well,
I wanna see
we're
the
kind of,
Yeah.
we're open to, honestly, we never thought this was going to be this complicated.
Yeah.
It's, the zoning
Very
rules and
complicated.
regulations are
Can I take
mind-boggling.
1 second? Wait a minute.
Sure.
1 second. The neighborhood is here to make it better, okay? I don't know if any of you ever go down Cameron Street right now. There's like 6 houses that are boarded up.
12.
12?
12.
Okay, that I'll destroy.
Yeah.
So when we had a meeting and they said that they want to buy this, it's boarded up. They want to put thousands of dollars into it, and we have it.
Tens of thousands.
Okay, I'm saying, number one, good for our neighborhood. Then the house that's next to it is boarded up and destroyed, that the city's gonna knock down. I don't want any more empty lots. I don't want any more junk and garbage in it. They wanna take it over and even put a ramp for handicap connected to the house, so that's gonna take care of the handicap one. Then the garden, which she take care of, and, well, the garden is taken care of.
Yeah,
Okay. They wanna leave it there, because they said the garden is beautiful, it looks nice in the neighborhood. I said, I'm not mad, the garden is there, we have house, we don't have an empty lot, I'm happy. That's why I says to you, this is what we want. When they went commercial, we were upset. But under commercial, okay, the city's got a law that you cannot put any more strip joints in, okay? And you cannot put certain businesses in under that. A lot of it's gotta be under an M1 done, right, Molly?
Right, yeah, and you need
So,
special.
right,
permit.
special permit.
Yeah.
City council was not going to allow that. Molly's on it, we're trying to go this way, which we don't want, but it's the only way they can get it. So that's why Molly's in city council trying to said, let's go R3. Let's go back to residential. That's where we're going
I
now.
have a question, the teen center, is that
Okay,
gonna be?
now we don't have a lot of
I
time,
just
so
wanna
let's
ask
wrap
this
it
one
up.
question. The teen center, is that gonna be for kids from the neighborhood, or is that just gonna, okay, because the kids go around to different libraries and they look at their teen centers, like downtown and everything, they kind of like, when are we getting ours? I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
From kids saying, when's the library gonna get bigger so we can, now you're helping alleviate part of that problem.
So we're gonna do some pretty cool things to that building.
Safety
We're
issue.
gonna renovate the first floor of the existing building, and then we're gonna extend it out the back and have one big, large meeting room in the back. And we're gonna go right out, so we already got, in fact, we just got them, we got the architecture plans. So it's gonna be pretty nice, once we get the city to say, okay.
I have a question.
Okay, a few questions.
Sure.
Let's back up a minute. You say Cameron Community Ministries. Are there any religious events at that structure?
Yes,
I
so-
know you have all those programs, but are there religious services?
So we don't have a service, but the dinner that I mentioned on Sundays, we have opt-in services. So people don't have to come to our place and do something in order to receive services. We don't make them be a Christian or any prayers or anything like that. However, we have a Bible study group for our kids who opt in, whose parents say, I want my kid to do this. We have vacation Bible school in the summertime. We have Sunday celebration dinners, and that's a little bit different. So all during the week, Monday through Saturday, it's just you come in and you do, you come in and eat and you leave. On Sundays, the church group that comes in does a brief worship. And when I say worship, people have seen it. It's a song, it's a prayer, it's, a reflection of some sort, but it's a pastor who's doing, leading some sort of
That's
reflection.
how I got involved in Cameron.
Okay,
That's
so
right.
now my
20 years
next,
ago.
my next question goes to, do you pay city taxes?
We do not, well, we do pay city taxes. We pay city taxes to have
Okay.
the sidewalks and all of
Okay,
that.
so let's go to this new venture.
Mhm.
Will you be paying taxes on this renovated teen center?
We do not pay building, so like no county taxes, but we pay the city taxes in order for our parts of the sidewalks and all of that, just like everyone else does. But we are a tax exempt organization because of the religious status.
So this new teen center will be tax exempt. I'm just trying to, okay. Now, the negative impact of parking on that street, I can just see it. Now,
Yep,
the
we have an
lots,
answer.
are you gonna use that empty lot
Yes.
for parking?
Yes,
Some.
so what our plan is when we
Some.
clear out 26, when the city knocks it down, it's really gonna solve two problems for us. One of the things the city really likes in our idea is they like to reduce the number of curb cuts. That is, driveway access, because it allows more parking on the street. That's one thing. The other thing that we're gonna do with 26 is gonna serve three purposes for us. We're gonna provide off-street parking. It's gonna provide us more multi-purpose court for our kids to play outdoors. And what it will also do, it'll allow us to have handicap accessibility to our new building from the back, because we'll be at a lower grade. So our ramp requirements to be able to get into the building are a lot less significant in terms of cost, in terms of just length, because you can only have so much pitch and so much length. So the handicap accessibility to our renovated 32 Cameron Street will be from the back of the building, and it'll be the parking that was the house at 26.
So how many vehicles do you say how many vehicles will be able to be parked on this vacant lot? Because
I don't know yet.
Cameron is alternating parking.
Mhm.
Cameron is a main thoroughfare for the fire department to go
Yep.
down,
Mhm.
okay? And sometimes there's parking on both sides and they can't get down.
Yep.
So how many parking spaces?
Well, we don't really, we haven't got to the point of the numbers yet, because we're still, right now, we're still working with the architect, and we can't even really go to the city for that part of the requirement until we get the okay to do it. So we're kind of doing like 3 things in parallel. We're working with the city to try to figure out this zoning thing. We're working with an architect, so we'll have a comprehensive drawing and plan that we can actually take to the city government when we're ready to start building, getting building permits, and something that we can show potentially people to raise money, to donate, to build the place out.
Are you planning for live-in staff, or is this house gonna
No.
close just like,
There will be no
Yes, no
overnight.
live-in staff.
no overnight?
No,
No.
none at all. And we'll have security like you wouldn't believe, just like we do in our building. And I guess it's common knowledge, and I don't mind that it's common knowledge. We work very, very closely with RPD. All those houses across the street, we allowed them to put secret cameras, and we'll do it whenever we need to do it on any of our property to make sure that they're getting the drug dealers that are in those houses that are now boarded up by the SWAT teams coming in last summer and taking care of it. And so that's one of our biggest priorities too, and we will continue to do that, safety.
I have some questions.
Thank you very
Yep,
much.
We're gonna,
absolutely.
just one thing, John, just to finish up on that, we're gonna basically take 32 Cameron. If you ever been over there, the gap between the fence of the playground that we built there and the house is probably about that much. Right, part of our renovation we'll actually have an entrance to the playground from the house, so we can have the kids funnel right in the playground, a nice safe environment for that as well.
So the gate on the driveway side would stay locked and the kids would come and go from the house to the,
Well,
Yeah,
depending
there's
on,
2 points of
yeah,
access.
depending on who's there, yes, yeah. We're pretty excited about it.
John?
I have some questions.
Sure.
Not so fast, Mike Piscotti.
Why?
I live over there, you don't.
Hello.
And this, first of all, Cameron Street is a residential street, and you have a nice program. So, and don't push 16. I don't want another house eliminated from there, because it's a residential street. And I have reservations about the 26 Cameron where you want to do a parking lot. Because if they're gonna tear down 26 Cameron, we could always request a Habitat home there, a replacement home there instead of what you want to put there. But I understand that you want that access to 32. But remember, that's a residential street.
Not so
And,
fast, John,
You're
look
gonna
up.
tear down, no, you're gonna
I
tear.
mean, yeah.
Wham.
Well, I live on Cameron Street.
I know.
I mean,
and drug houses,
And then-
and you don't live in this neighborhood.
Yes.
You have homes here.
yes.
In one of my houses fronts Cameron fronts, so we, you have the extra parking there, and you're gonna tear down a house, and.
Well, we're not gonna tear down the
Tear down
house.
the house.
No.
The city's gonna tear down the
City,
house.
But then you're gonna take it over, maybe.
We plan on purchasing the lot once the city cleans up.
Remember, it's still a residential street, and
Yep.
then, it's not fair for the other people on the street there that, and I'm right there too. I like to keep it residential. And we talked about Lyle Avenue tonight, and you're 50 feet from Lyle, the 400 block of Lyle is terrible. So you have to commit, I know you have those kids come there, but you have to commit with some other people to clean up Lyle Avenue.
Absolutely.
And if the mayor is so happy about your program, she has done nothing to help clean up Lyle Avenue.
Well, I wouldn't, I don't want to put words in the
I'm
mayor's
just
mouth.
saying, I know.
So I'm just, yeah, and like I said, when we met on Friday,
What's your
John,
opinion, John?
as soon as there is an understanding of how you think we can help on
Yes, I
Lyle,
know.
Let us know, because
Well,
we'll do
It's
whatever we can.
important, because I'm meeting with some merchants too.
and I think the thing is, from the residential perspective of the neighborhood, we're taking the best of the houses that we're acquiring, and we're renovating it and expanding it. We're taking a house that's already been condemned and taking it down. We're not gonna, it's not gonna be some big glorious parking lot. It's really access to the back of 32 so we can have handicap accessibility.
And I was concerned about the traffic when the parents pick up their kids.
Mhm.
But anyway, you're doing a good thing. I'm not opposed to the program.
Well, thank you,
Thanks,
John. And if you could come on the 14th and say that, I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
I will.
So,
Right, Molly?
yeah, I think
5 o'clock is
that,
the hearing.
yeah, 5 o'clock is the public,
City
yeah.
council chambers,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we would really welcome your support, and look, in the interim, or even afterwards, or before, or even tonight, if there is any questions, like any concerns, just what are we doing, we are completely open and willing to have any conversation with any of you about what we're doing, because we think it's really positive.
Come over and I'll give you a tour. I'm there every day.
And I'm there almost every day.
Oh my gosh, come over, I'll give you a tour.
You know, I guess similarly too, because other council members will kind of look to me for what the neighborhood's opinion is. If you have an opinion that you want to share, please email me and let me know what you think so that I can share it with them. I have a feeling that sort of the same way we did, Pam did, when they see a C1 designation for for Cameron Street as opposed to Lyle Avenue, they're gonna go, why would we do that? So I think we're probably gonna be able to come to some agreement about an R3 instead of a C1. But as Todd and Jen said, this has been full of surprises, so we want to have surprises in the good direction, not in the bad direction. But your input is really important, your
Yeah.
support is very important, and
We won't be successful without you, without your
Okay.
support.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I want to pass these out, take them as many as you want. You got friends on your street, give them out. You got to take one for all yours. Please, you over there on your street, pass them out to your neighbors. Please. I got more.
We brought 10 more. I know that I gave these out at the last meeting, but if you were not at the last meeting, this is the Yellow Dot Program. It's a project from the New York State Sheriff's Association. You put this dot on your front door, you put this dot on your car, you put this information about yourself in the glove box if it's on the car, or in your freezer. If you were incapacitated and emergency personnel had to help you, this would help them identify you and get you your services. If you were diabetic, whatever the case may be, that's meant to help. So you're welcome to take this. If you had a neighbor who needed one, absolutely. Also, we are, excuse us. This is he's trying to talk. Just a little bit. Un poquito. We are trying to beautify our neighborhood. I picked up some lovely tall flowers for our parks so that we can see them from a distance. So we have some sunflowers, we have some snapdragons, perennials, and some leons. And anyone is welcome to plant these at our parks. We've got 4 lovely parks in our area. I have signed us up to gather, now this was what I could afford, was the seeds. We are picking up plants, I believe most of them are annuals, but picking up, I think it's 2 flats of plants on Wednesday, in the afternoon, early evening, like at 4:30, 5 o'clock, at the 400 Dewey location. My email, nicenrg@aol.com. My phone number, if you don't have it, 581-8586, and you're able to text me and say, Pam, yes, I want to plant these in the right of way, in the public areas of our neighborhood. Please sign up. We have hand tools, we have garden gloves, We just need that elbow grease. So I'll be picking those up on Wednesday, and let me know where I have to deliver them.
All right?
And guys, again, for the Flower City Kickers, this will be the
Audrey, you
next
got some,
presentation.
you know,
I will probably
neighbors or
pass
anything?
this on to the
You got 'em out?
people in charge of it, but for now, it's an invitation, people can sign up, and 2 weeks from today,
We
there's an
start at
executive.
5:30, 6:30, we're gonna be here at 5. How about that? I was the president. You want to give them to him? This is Ed.
My name is John Allen. I'm a Cameron board member. I raised the money, built the playground there 6 years ago, and I've been involved.